could be heaven. This could be heaven.
You know, I mean, if we ain't free, then there ain't nobody else that is either, you know. So, wow, babies. If you're feeling all tied up and trapped in, and well, we don't want to ever go there again. Just let it go. Let it right now, man. Just give it up, man. Don't be trapped no more. Here's to you and stepping forward. See this beautiful place on this here mug? Well, I guess you can't see it, but there it is on this beautiful mug, you know, and it says Mary Jane Gateway to Paradise, and there's Paradise City waiting for you right there. Big old city of gold up in the clouds. Does that remind you of anything? Does that have a familiar ring to it? Does it represent something that maybe has some kind of representation in this reality that we maybe long since forgot a long time ago? I mean, it almost brings tears to my eyes because it's so real, even though it's so coyote, you know. It's a simple little mug that I imprint, an imprint that I designed a graphic. I borrowed some here and there, elements of it, of course, but I designed a graphic and put it together and put it on this mug, and I offer them over there on the KOYOTEClub.com, T-H-E, well, anyway, Coyotes with a K and Clubs with a K, so theKOYOTEClub.com. But anyway, it's like Mary Jane, Gateway to Paradise, and there's a rainbow over the top, and there's a coyote at one end of the rainbow and the old Conscious Consumer Network at the other end of the rainbow. And beneath that's the clouds, and then there's that glorious golden city, Gateway to Paradise, you know, and marijuana leaves on both sides of it, so you know that you sponsored there by Mary Jane, that she actually can help you awaken to the point that you can literally see this beautiful city in the sky again and remember who it is and what it is and how attached you are to it, you see. For many of us, that's home, that's family, that's the beginning of the river of life, that's the headwaters of love right there. That's all of it, you know, and, you know, the Garden of Eden too, and all the rest of it, babies. I mean, it's it. That's the place, you know. Paradise, that city that rides in the clouds, that golden city of love, you know. It's still hanging out here and ain't never went away. We just kind of lost sight of it for a while. You know, but the sight of it on this here mug, this little souvenir mug that I offer for a pretty gentle price over there, and pretty gentle donation, let's call it, because you can't price a souvenir like this, but it's highly suggestive of our return to our own reality and of the ways we gotta go to finish the show and get there, don't you know? So it's really a work of hardness, like everything on this Coyote Medicine Show on the Hazy Radio Network is, babies, because we frickin' love you and we frickin' love life, and I think we all deserve a place in paradise, even if we continue to hang around here on the earth and party down with the natives for a while. We can still be in paradise. Yeah, right? See? Because that's where we already be, darlings, don't you see? Mary Jane, she helped you see the way, and you know, you'll help me, you'll forgive me, but I'm feeling kind of papal today, you know. Got my walking stick behind me with my copper woven Mary Jane leaf on that top end of it there, man, and I'm just feeling very inspired today to be inspirational and promotional for Mary J. So I highly suggest that if you want to share the buzz of paradise with your friends and neighbors and relatives or whoever you really care about, you know, I highly suggest you get a couple of these Mary Jane Gateway to Paradise mugs on their way so you can offer them as a gift to somebody that really needs to see the light, you know, and share the love and the wealth and the regeneration of true planetary ascendancy by showing people what it is, you know, on your morning coffee mug. Besides that, then you can clink down with this, because this is one of the official Coyote Club mugs, you know, and that qualifies you into membership with the Coyote Club, though actually this validates your membership because you're already there. Everything and everybody is, okay? No question about that. We're all members of life, right? And that's the Coyote Club life. Okay, you're in, babies. He says with a grin. And looking into Gateway of Paradise right now here on my coffee cup mug. Mine's a little bit warm because I overuse them a lot, you know. And I like to put them to heavy tests, you know. So I want to see the durability of the wanting reality. But God, it just adds character and stuff to it, man. Just makes it feel that much more alive. You know, this little coffee mug I sip my morning juice out of. Why not, babies? Hoo-wee. Well, thank you very much, babies, for being present in paradise and helping me remember it, too, so I could share it with you once again. Here in that coyote way, yes, indeed. It's the medicine of life, wouldn't you see? Wouldn't you say? I mean, I do, all the time, you know. I mean, if I'm going to hang out in life, I'm going to hang out with Mary Jane, because she's always been, you know, there for me, so I'm going to be there for her, too, man. That's why I am the veritable Pope of Pop, Mary Jane's right-hand man. I love her sincerely, babies. You know, like my own mother, I love her. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Because she is my mother in a relative sense. She represents that mothering energy inside each and every one of us. Which ain't a smothering energy. Knock it off, you meathead, you. It's the expansive love. It's the kind that never stops. It's the kind that grows and wants to see you grow, too, right along with it. That's why you're nuzzled up there in that most comfortable space there ever was for a tiny baby to be in there, nuzzled between mother's love, man, and held firmly in her arms, but graciously. And that love just expands outward, 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 outward in unity from your union with your mother love, man, you know. You finally let it back in because you never really could put it away. You felt cut off from it forever and a day, I know. The coldness was just unreal, babies. But, you know, in the middle of the night we snuck in some daylight and now it's all okay. So you can learn to walk this way instead of that one, baby. Wouldn't you say? Excuse my little rattly voice there. I don't think I smoke enough. I probably should smoke a little more and get my throat soothed down, so in, you know, that case, I think I will just do a little of that this morning, you know. We're just being kind of silly today on this freewheeling Monday. I just turned it into a freewheeling day, I guess, because, you know, the intensity of the full moon is passing away. I felt it lighten up a little bit this morning as I watched that rascal settle into the western skies again. Sure was beautiful morning out here this morning, clear as a bell for a change, you know. But kind of bright because of the moonlight, but wow, just right, you know, beautiful. I love living in the Rocky Mountain Way, babies. I hope you feel that from here and can live your Rocky Mountain Way wherever you are and just embrace it and be it and know that we love you for it, baby. Forever and a day, babies. Yes, indeedy, forever and a day. So here's to you once again in that coyote way, you know, token on a little of the sacred herb MJ, man. Who not only loves you like only a mother can, but like a mother would, will lead you into the promised land if you'll just let her, you know. You have to let your idiot attitudes get out of the way. Well, I mean, you know, we all been there, done that. I'm not exempting myself. Gee whiz, you think I'm some kind of prima donna? Shit, man. I walked on a few turds in my time, let me tell you. And sometimes it splattered all the way up to my elbows and stuff, you know. You know, we all live a life, and if we're honest and straight up with ourselves, everybody steps in it every now and then. I don't care how good and gracious you are. We can also be quite clumsy and unreal sometimes too, can't we? So we've got to quit picking on ourselves and let ourselves live a life. You know, if things are going to fall on the floor, they're going to fall on the floor. No big deal, man. You know, do it again, man. Let's see how that works next time. You know, whatever, you know, whatever little flaw or irritation you're having in this life right now, it's just there to help you graduate beyond, you know, any frustration with your reality. By realizing your presence in it and knowing that you're not quite harmonious with it yet, but yet you're getting there. I mean, it's almost evidence of how close you really are rather than a drag the other way around, you know. When it seems like you're coming undone, that's when you're getting most done up, man. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? That's when you become the most expansive, you know. It's sometimes stressful at times like that because there's a lot that's gone on here that hasn't met the eye. You know, I mean, as far as like our physical presence being dabbled with, let alone the extreme distortion in the reality into which we're born, and let alone the pain and the frustration of childbirth, you know, coming forward from a human form. You know, getting squoze down, and it's painful for the kid and painful for the mama, but everybody just flows into love. And sometimes people get love and pain confused right there. They seem like the same thing. So then we love our pain forevermore, and it's like, wow. And that's ultimately what kills us. It's the same thing that birthed us, the pain. Wow. Now, is that coyote medicine? Is that a living metaphor? Is that not evidence of the unreality of this experience? Of how far we're willing to stretch ourselves into a true, I mean, it's a harsh little thing for spirits to do. I don't care how tough and resilient and loving you are, man. It's an experience. It's very trying. It's testing right to the essence of your very heart, your bones, your every basic little attitudes, everything. You get stretched to the max here, you know, and you learn to see how far it can go, and it's nuts. But it's beautifully so. It's all driven by love. It's all learning lessons and growing because of it. It's a blessing, babies. Like, you know, every breath we take, every moment we live, it's a blessing, babies. We love it. You know, that's why some people come here and live 30 seconds. That's all they can manage. It's a beautiful 30 seconds, man. Let alone those who get to live 300 years or so. They see a lot. They experience a lot in 300 years. Can you imagine? I mean, what have you been alive? 40 of them or 30 of them or 20 of them so far? Drop in the bucket, eh? See, that's what I feel like. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm rather, you know, I'm past the age of retirement now. And I'm like, wow, I still feel like 17. Like I'm just starting to wake up, you know, maybe, you know. I mean, I'm 17. I'm getting some maturity, but I still got some real immaturity going on. And I kind of like it. You know, I like being a little bit radical and testing the limits that have been imposed on me to see if they're real, because I don't think they are. I don't really feel like there are any limits here, you know, and I got the teenager willingness to push past them, you know. If I can find compatible hearts to do it like we do here on the Coyote Medicine Show each and every day, we expand the crap out of it. We challenge your sensibilities and then some. Take you all the way anytime you're ready to go there, you see. Because that's what the show is there for, man, to take us there, to help us want to be free. Notice that we are free already, that we are, despite the pain and the love thereof, in the beginning of our life. Despite all of that, we're free. Anytime we want to be, because we're born free, you know. A separation from the mother's heart in the physical form, you know, it's metaphorical, of course, of spiritual reality. But a separation from that means a willingness to step forward as a whole new creation, to embody the spirit of your mother and father and all the genetic generations that went before you, to inherit all of that living energy and experience in the personal presence of your spiritual being as a physical person. And to go forward to try and resolve the remedy of that when you can't even remember that you're spiritual, let alone that you're living. It's kind of a harsh recipe, you see. But that's the amusement park aspect of it. Because we know and feel in our heart, even as we're living it, that this cannot be so. There's a part of us here that knows it cannot be such a drag. The heart would never create such a drag. How could it? It loves its soul like a mother does. And maybe a father too, if we can just go ahead and get him to quit me around the sky and messing with all the stars that are. I mean, come on, Daddy-O. Get with the program, man. Papa was a rolling sun. Wow, S-U-N. Yeah, man, and how. But I got to tell you right here and now that the sun in the sky and I as a guy and you as a gal or a guy pal are all gathered in the same sun. We're just like how we're all born of the same mother. Our belly button tells us that, and the little marks we wear from mother. Well, the unity of the sunlight is the same thing. It's the same family. It just goes through a different form of experience. Comes from a little different place, yet it all begins in that same place, a little tiny place where light is. And light becomes love, and love becomes light, and light is love, and therefore it creates and makes itself into experience and has a great time doing it. See, that's why life's rock and roll. We love to party, but we like to test ourselves. We like to push ourselves. We like to see how far it can go. We like to know how far this love can stretch and still be malleable, still be real, still find itself despite living in a dense, cold fog for a while, you know. God, babies, we've done it. You know, man, it just reminds me one time, I'm sitting there in the alleyway in Portland, Oregon in the cab of my truck. It's a little chilly out there this morning, about 40 degrees, and it's foggy, kind of a misty fog, comes in and out like it does there by the sea sometimes, and I'm sitting in this brick-laid alleyway, it's old Portland, down in the produce district there. Well, what little there is of it. But anyway, there we are. I are waiting to get unloaded. But it's about 3 in the morning, and, I've been up all night, and I can't sleep. I got to unload at 5 anyway, so I'm just sitting there behind the steering wheel listening to the radio for a minute. But it's not turned too high because it's 3 in the morning. I don't want to disturb anybody. And I hear the sound of a wheel, kind of a roller skate going across these bricks in this bumpy old alley. I mean, this is old brick alleyway. It's been there 100 years probably. And it's pretty worn and pretty tattered, And so I turned the radio down and opened the window to see what the hell that is, and it's echoing off the buildings around me. But it's definitely the sound of a roller skate wheel of some sort or another bouncing down that alleyway in front of me somewhere. It's just echoing off the buildings, so you really can't tell from which way it's coming. And then this wispy fog is hazing in and out in the alleyway, so you get little glimpses down the alleyway, and your eyes are straining to see, what this weird-ass noise is, And then all of a sudden, the fog clears for a moment down there at the intersection with another brick alleyway. It's not a half block from you. And there's this guy wearing a Jesus robe with about a 3/4 size cross over his shoulder. And it's dragging the end of it on the ground behind him, and he's got a little roller skate wheel attached to it, so it bounces along behind him, and he don't have to work too hard to pull this thing, About 3 o'clock in the morning in downtown Portland, near where the produce docks are there. I mean, what, in an alleyway, wherever. Wow. Just out of nowhere, this dude materializes and walks, doesn't even look up, he's got his head down, just walks on, 3 o'clock in the morning, heading for who knows where. And I said, wow, thank you, Jesus. I appreciate the sign, man. I knew he was all quite divine right then, and everything was cool. But I got to tell you, this guy was a character, one of our West Coast characters. I found him around. That's the first time I'd ever seen him. It was quite an introduction. I really liked it. Funny things happen to me in Portland. Really good things, though. I like Portland. It's got great energy. I'm known and inhabited with some really good friends there, too. That's a rocking place. But, I choose not to live there, of course, because I don't know, it's too soggy for me. I got to be up in the higher places, don't you see? Down low, it's like, well, on the beach it's cool, but not there. The beach is there. Well, they don't have a beach in Portland, but on over towards the coast. They're cold, man. Shoot, no. Got to be further south than that where you can enjoy it, Or maybe a little further north up there in the little chain of islands alongside BC there, there's some pretty mild temps in there, I've heard, and some pretty awesome places to be and hanging out on the beach. So, there are some hidden getaways up there, but the main beaches are south of there where they ought to be, Mexico, that's the beauty of the place we want to go, right? At least that's what the Beach Boys said a long time ago, and I firmly believe it, man. Well, this winter maybe we'll do that. Mexico has already become like the promised land. I mean, they're so well, I don't know. It's used to be such a digressive place, and now it's totally changing there. The people are like, shattering the old illusions, and it's you just wait a little bit. You watch Mexico; it's going to kind of set the trail for some other nations and tribes. Let's say, I hate to express it in terms of division in any way. We can appreciate Mexico without thinking of it as something separate from us. Now, can't we? Just a part of who we are, part of this earth, man. It's a beautiful place, filled with beautiful people and gracious souls, everyone, starting to wakey up just like everyone else, man. But Mexico's kind of got some magic energy, and it'll be exhibiting that. I guess that's why my meandering thought path today was led down there to the beaches, thinking about that this winter. It might be a good time to be in Mexico on the beach this winter. Who knows, man? Sure feels like something's flowing in good directions down there, don't you know? I always kind of like the Mexican people, the Mexican culture, like hanging out in El Paso, and so forth. I've always felt comfortable in that reality for the most part, and I've been treated pretty good there too, as a result. So it's been kind of fun, and of course I have kind of a unique look to me, and I always have. So people are a little bit different to me than they would be with the average bear coming along. I'm not much of a bear, I'm more of a little badger-looking guy. Wolverine, yeah. No, it's a coyote, man. Don't let it fool you. Oh, cowboy love. Anyway, so people could relate to me a little more quickly, I think, than they would the average dude or dudette come along. Though you never know, if the connection's there, it can be with anybody. It's not just because it's you, It's every situation has a unique energy and nature to it, and there are moments where you can connect with anybody on a good level and understand one another perfectly, at least for one moment in time. It may not last, but at least it's there for a moment. And then you start exhibiting behaviors, or they start exhibiting behaviors, you start to question, and so on and so forth, Oops, there comes the definition, the defining of a person and what little pigeonhole they fit into, etc., For some people, that's almost automatic pilot, Well, we're learning not to be that anymore, aren't we? You just stay in that moment where there is that understanding and don't move beyond that. Just let that become the expansive moment. Let that be what you remember. Let that be where you keep that energy as you continue on from there. And don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, man. Well, in a relative sense. Don't be deluded by the meandering doubts you may encounter. I just proved to you that it's that way anyway, so just let them flow by. Be real with what you're dealing with. Just go on. Have a good time with it, Don't let, the activities of others dissuade you from your own path, is what I'm saying, You can be in union with people, and this is what you remember, is those moments of connection where it's really, really pure and nice and simple, too. There are these moments when we really are aware that we do completely understand one another. These moments do occur, sometimes with cold-ass strangers. Those kind you may not want to last forever, because then you start having really serious doubts about yourself, let alone a stranger. See how quickly it goes away? We forget it quickly because we got defenses. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, don't do that because, that's the guardians over the old heart that come into activity when we're experiencing in a little different way than we ought to be, let's say. But then we come back to life. We start to remember it. By living in the darkness, we start to see where the light is, Sometimes we're so living in it and so blinded by it, we can't see nothing else, so we didn't know. Now we do. Now we got it. We lived in caves and tunnels and served as slaves for a while. But I gotta remind you, even serfs have their day of freedom, Everybody comes back to life. Each person in their own way and without regret now. Finally, we've got to this place where this form of judgment for characterizations here passes away. And, it's because it's a cartoon, we can let it all go. It's like nothing happened, just like in the cartoons after all this shebanging around and all the squishing down and blowing up and, all of that. Everybody's happy and everybody's cool and partying down at the end of it in some way, unless it's a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, in which case he's still chasing this silly roadrunner. But one day... Oh, man, too metaphorical there, wouldn't you say? See, so we keep flowing this way. We keep going this way. We just let life take us where it will. We're each living representations then of that flow so that others might get it. We just live it. We don't have to, do anything else. Just live it. Be it, and let it shine. That's all. That's by allowing yourself to be it, too. You have to... do have to see past the old doubtful restrictions like we were talking about, but that's the very thing that passes away. As you see them in motion and you start to understand how that used to work, it's over with. You see, so don't be afraid to unwind a little bit. I call it Kundalini rising, and it really feels like that, like a couple of serpents are uncoiling from inside of you and becoming a de-densified part of your person. A union, a magic moment is occurring where repression and digressing and, all that funny stuff that's gone on inside of us that isn't there anymore. We're unraveling from the suppression that we allowed to be imposed upon ourselves, that we might be imprisoned in this house of love we call the human form and not know anything about our reality. And have to stumble around in the darkness in an attempt to find and express and experience it here once again. And given those conditions, Mr. Magoo and then some, man, we did pretty damn good, like the old Mr. Magoo cartoons, which many of you will remember, because I think they were rerun for generations. But anyway, they like that little blind guy stumbling through life and creating disasters and miracles simultaneously, and always coming out of it smelling like a rose. That's humanity's story in a nutshell. Mr. Magoo and then some. Ms. Magoo too, yeah, we're all in it. It doesn't matter how you personify yourself. You see, genderization is just a way of experiencing and expressing our beautiful form anyway, however we live it. Doesn't really matter, and it never really did. These were the lies imposed on us by others that sought to contain and control us and confound and confuse us and keeping us from finding the way. And we're unraveling from all of that today. Right now, that mystery is dissolving away from our heart. And all of the ambitious guilt and shame that went with it. What the? No. There's nothing to be guilty or ashamed about when you're following the flow of love and doing this in a natural way, the way of the heart. It's really different because we've only known a little glimmer or a shadow of that in these past lives we've been living, let alone this one. But we're becoming quite aware and conscious of that flow now, and that's why we go in this way. That's why we flow in this way, even here on the Coyote Medicine Show, It's a living demonstration of the love that we are in motion, the flow of creation. See, it's not something you have to believe. It's something you just open up and receive, or be, because it's already there. We just help you see it, unlock it, unravel it. Kundalini arising and then some. And don't be afraid. Let it come forward and release itself. You'll feel freer and lighter than you ever have before. You'll understand that you really are a free being, a free person, and what that really means. Free to be the ever-loving heart of creation that you are, to realize yourself as such, which is ourself, all of us. Jeezo Weezo, look at this Louiso, it's us, oh, don't you know? Yeah. Each person is the one, and the one is each person, carrying forward in creation in the most eager and natural ways possible. Eagerly natural, let's put it that way, yeah, because we like it. We like the living, we like the life now as it returns to us inside this physical presence, as well as the reality around us. And it is the return of vision, of the ability to see and be, and therefore experience that which is real here. And that dissolve away all of the lies and illusions. This is why some people are kind of ducking and running for cover in high places, because they know the gig is up and they've been found out. They don't understand the lack of judgment in it. You know, everybody just did a part that was pure and did what they thought they had to do. Slaves are slaves, and, you know, as such they can't be held accountable for what activities they're directed by their slave masters to be doing, you know. That pretty much holds through all of humanity, you see. When I say free, I mean free from slavery, real slavery that every being and energy has been imposed under in this reality. The imprisonment of our heart, the locking away of the truth of our loving nature, and the giving forth of brutality, the experience of non-love, violence, pain, maiming such as we'd never known before. I mean, sick shit. But it became the fertilizer of love, man. The durability of the heart proved itself resilient again and again and could not be crushed or contained in any way, no matter what form of awfulness it chose to experience itself in for a few moments there. But relative to what's real, baby, it was just a few moments. Wow, a nightmarish dream we got stuck in for a while. But it's all unraveling now. Just feel this flow coming forward here musically and harmonically through the old man, don't you know? And all these angels that are here with us in the flow, and all the other beings and ancestral energies too that have lived for this moment here with you. United in all of this, you see. This is where the reunion begins, is right here inside of each and every one of us, because we are the one in each and every one of us. The Coyote way, each and every day. Take your medicine, it's good for you, kiddos. Take your rock with your roll, man. This is the rock that rolls you now, ain't it, babies? Yeah, moves your soul. Get you going in the morning. Now, what did we assign you to do today? Don't you forget it. Okay, you got to take the day off because it's Monday, and who hell wants to go to work on Monday? Everybody's miserable, right? You know, we're not here to spread misery or to share it either, you know. We're here to watch Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoons and be highly entertained by it and smoke a little righteous herb while we're doing it, so we're more open and expansive and get the joke. You have to be stoned to understand Boris and Natasha and Rocky and Bullwinkle, you know. You just have to. You got it? That's the way, man. You know, welcome to Gangsta Land now, the spiritual Gangsta Land. You're going to learn all the elemental facts of life from Rocky, Bullwinkle, Boris, and Natasha, and a few other assorted characters that come along for the ride. But you got to remember, it's Rocky and Bullwinkle. If you want to skip over Peabody and Sherman, you can do that. It's Rocky and Bullwinkle. You don't have to torture yourself with stuff you don't want to bear. But that's your homework today. That's your assignment from, you know, Dr. Coyote here, you know. I mean, well, how do you... your teacher in metaphysics for the moment. But as soon as the bell rings, you're free, okay? I mean, you don't have to listen to me anymore, you know. Then we can just be real and go down the street and have a beer together and be people again, okay? These are just roles we're playing so the people that run the school pay us money and let us do our thing, you know. It's a role, it's an act, man. Remember that, you know, as you go along through life, especially when you get your paycheck. Remember what you had to do to get it, you know. Well, maybe it's better if you don't remember what you had to do to get it. Just block that out now, yeah. Oh, babies, we're coming unraveled in a warp sort of way, but we're getting that mystery unraveled just the same here today. In that Coyote way, on the Coyote Medicine Show, where else but the ever-loving Hazy Radio Network. Darlings, we love you so. And that's why we play so much good rock and roll. We just can't help it. It's just the rhythm of we feel coming from your heart, so it just conjures up the right tunage that makes your heart lost just at the right moment of time. Just like it's doing right now here on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote in the Morning Man on the Coyote Medicine Show. Don't you know?
Yeah, this could be heaven for everyone. This world could be fair. This world could be